This is Quick Resume, episode 12, coming at you not live, but actually probably from yesterday. It depends when we update it. Hi, my name's Deck. I'm joined by Tim, wonderful human. Hi, Tim. How are you today?
I'm good, thanks. I think our intros are only getting better.
I think so. I think it's just me
by episode 12
finding a way to compliment you for the first 10 seconds. And it's so easy to do, you know?
It's just coming at you, not live, maybe yesterday, tomorrow. Anyway.
Not resuming quickly. The last episode was like 3 weeks ago, so that's fine.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It wasn't that long ago, was it? We did the E3 thing.
Yeah, but then
the proper episode.
Exactly. The real meat and potatoes.
You know what people are here for. Yeah, that hasn't been for a few weeks, to be fair.
And that's
but,
fine.
You know,
sorry,
life
we're
gets
busy.
in the way.
Yeah, sue us.
Yeah.
Don't. Yeah. Please don't. Wow, fantastic. Well, so all of you are aware that there is. Our videos that we've been doing are obviously in the build up to E3, and I, as deadpan as I sound, I'm very excited about all of it. So today's going to be a special E3 episode, where we pretty much talk exclusively about this year's E3 and sort of our hopes and dreams. But before we get into that, I of course want to kick off with our sort of check-in for today. So tell me, Tim, how have you sort of been? How's your gaming life been?
Thank God you say gaming life, because
I know I wanted to clarify that. Yeah,
I was like, stuff is going to get real heavy.
Who knows what you'd have said? I don't know.
Gaming life's pretty good. The normal staples of Apex Legends, and actually, to be fair, we've been playing a lot of Knockout City, which is fantastic. It's a great game.
It's a ball.
Having a lot of fun in it. It's a ball. Yeah. God, how long? I'm surprised you didn't have that one written down.
I know.
It's really good. It's a super fun game. It's kind of just like, the best way I could describe it is if you like your games like Rocket League and you play all those with your mates, you're gonna love this one too. It's that really similar vibe. I think it's a little bit more intense.
Do you think it's more intense than Rocket League?
I do, yeah. I mean, I never really was that good at Rocket League. I kind of just zoomed around a bit. This is a bit more. It's really reaction based. It's very edgy a seat sometimes. You can't just like chill and play it. And I noticed that bringing in some of our friends as well to play it as well. I remember him saying, he was like, I was expecting it to be like Rocket League and be quite chill, and then but intense at times. And he was just like, it's really intense.
I don't know. I think that's interesting. I wonder what people would think about that. About like, because I was having a conversation with someone about like Splatoon. I've never played Splatoon, but from what I know, it's kind of just spray paint fucking everywhere until you have most of the place covered in your colour paint. I'm sure there's more to it mechanically. I know there are like different weapons. There's like a roller and like a shotgun, grenades. I don't know. Anyway, like I think that the kind of that skill gap between Rocket League and Knockout City is quite similar. Like you say, it's like they're both very accessible. But I'd be interested to hear what people feel is like. Maybe so. You feel that maybe the Knockout City has a higher skill floor than Rocket League?
Yeah, I think just generally speaking, from a very casual standpoint, it's a bit more intense.
Like, it's hard to have a really laid-back game of Knockout City, whereas you could have a piss-around laid-back game in Rocket League. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, that's good. What would you give it on a scale?
Playing. Well, no, I'm not going to give it a playing solo and a playing with friends score.
Yeah.
I'd give it a 8.
Nice.
A crispy 8.
First review from Tim on the Quick Resume podcast.
Yeah. Still waiting on that Evil Within.
The Evil Within and Undertale and some other one. Some other shit, I can't remember.
The Evil Within has been thrown into the background because I've actually, also been playing Resident Evil 8 in my gaming life. So there you go, everyone. I got my ass off Apex. I did it.
It's hard to do. Man.
And yeah, Resi 8 is great. Resi 8 is great.
It's Resi great.
Yeah, that should be the plaque on their front cover of their game.
What do you like about Resi 8?
I like, so far, pretty much everything about it. I like that it kind of blends the old school and new school Resident Evils together. Because Resident Evil 4 is probably my favourite. That was a really, really, really cool game. It was quite actiony. It wasn't too actiony, though. It was also quite survival horror. With like inventory management and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So they kind of blended that with, the first person action of Biohazard, and I think it's really cool. I think it's so far, like atmosphere wise and intrigue and just like what the hell is going on. It's probably my favorite one I've played for a long time, because I still don't know what's going on. It's pretty crazy. It's there's a lot of people with a lot of superpowers, and I'm like, how am I going to kill these people later? But I guess Ethan will just pull it out of his ass somehow.
Yeah, just get a ray gun.
Yeah, exactly. Just find a ray gun in a box. But it's it's really cool, and yeah, also it just looks absolutely stunning on a Series X, which is always great. Like I think it's probably the best looking game I've played on my Series X, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think it's better than Valhalla. Although Valhalla on like an overall scale is much more impressive. Don't get me wrong. I think just attention to detail, this does look much better.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was going to say, like, one of the reasons, I mean, I've said this before, but as someone who's never played a Resident Evil, one of the things that made me want to play this one, I mean, it does look good, but like one of the things is that I still don't really have like a showcase game for the console, I know. Yeah, so I mean, Knockout City is not really. The models look really fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But what am I playing? Like Mass Effect. That's what I'm playing at the moment, and that's obviously their remake. So they look nice, but you can tell they're older games. So yeah, I mean, I agree. Like Valhalla was kind of like my launch game for this gen that I played all the way through 70 hours later, but I got through it eventually. Like the scope of the game was pretty wonderful, but I think you're probably right, because this, like, as it's that sort of thing, isn't it? The stuff that's released further into the gen is probably going to look better as we go. So yeah, it looks really cool as an outsider.
Yeah, no, it's great. I am very much enjoying it. Yeah, I'm probably like, I want to say I'm like 5 hours in at the moment, and I don't think it's an incredibly long game from what I've heard. But yeah, I mean, the goal is to try and complete it relatively quickly. Because I'm coming to see you next week. Hang on, I just need to let my dog out quickly. I'll carry on talking as I do it.
Multitask. What the fuck?
Yeah, multitasking on a podcast. Yeah, because I'm seeing you next week, so I kind of just want to try and complete it. Sort of by the time I see you, and then maybe I can lend it to you or something, because I know you'd probably want to play it.
Yeah, I'd like to play it.
Obviously, I'm not going to rush my experience for you. Screw
But of
you.
course,
yeah.
Put me second.
End of the day, I don't care that much. It's nice enough that I'm thinking about you in general.
Yeah, is it running at like 60? Is it like 4K 60?
I think. Yeah, I mean, it feels 60. I don't know if it actually is.
Yeah, because I imagine it is. I think you would know if it was 30.
No, it's definitely not 30, but I remember when it was coming out, all the tech specs were just like, it's not quite 60, it's like 45.
Yeah, it had a 45
or something
mode,
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, but I'm not that sort of guy that's just like, this is clearly 45, like 45 still looks and feels great. So, and but it does. It is kind of weird that you have to turn on like the ray tracing option, because that's turned off by default. And obviously you can turn it on if you use X and S, I believe. I don't know. but definitely X. But yeah, it doesn't like tell you. It's not like you have a Series X. You're clearly playing this on a Series X, and we've turned on ray tracing for you. It's just like you have to go in and find it and turn it on, and obviously it makes the game look much nicer.
Yeah, but it's ultimately still probably a trade-off, so that's why. Like I'm sure it hitches frames a bit more because it's quite intense.
Yeah, but the game's slow enough that I'd rather sacrifice a few frames to have that really nice reflections and shininess, and you're in like a really nice looking castle a lot as well. So, but yeah, I mean, it's great. The atmosphere is fantastic. It's gruesome as all hell. I'm 5 hours in, and poor Ethan. So much has happened to that man. I don't even. Obviously, I won't go into spoilers, but the poor guy. I don't know how he's still fucking standing, but. And yeah, it's great. It's action, it's exploration, it's suspense, it's horror, it's intrigue. You know, it kind of ticks all the boxes you want from a game like that. So
nice.
I'm enjoying it.
Sweet. Well, I mean, it's nice to hear other stuff on your plate. You know, it's good.
Yeah. I'm an adventurous man in the gaming.
You're crazy. Yeah. Is there anything else at all?
No, that's it from me. That was quite a lengthy one. So, yeah. Cool, what about you?
Well, I mean, I was I wanted to. We had, I think we spoke. Yeah, I think in our last episode, maybe it's 2 episodes ago. They started doing the 20th anniversary sort of celebration for Xbox and all of that, and that's culminating really with E3 and then the Halo Infinite launch. That should be this year. Fingers are still crossed. As part of that, I ordered one of the 20th anniversary shirts and one of the little mugs, and got my name, not my name, my gamer tag etched into it. And those have been pretty good. They came all the way from the Americas, so it took a while, but they came just in time for my birthday, which was the other week, and that was really nice. They're really good. So that was
Is it a good quality product?
Yeah, man. You know, it is quite nice. Although the size, and I don't want to hear a fat joke here, the size is a bit weird for the shirt because I ordered like a large, but it's like really long. Maybe they should be a women's shirt. They do that with lady shirts, and they make them like skinny and long. I don't know. Anyway,
no, because you notice it with the sleeves and stuff. If you had a woman's shirt, they have like more like angular sleeves. You know, they like come up like here for like women's shirts. They like stop.
I don't know. I mean, it fits well, but it's just like I kind of wanted a baggy shirt because I wanted it. I'm not wearing that out. I mean, no offense, Phil, but I'm not wearing it out. But you know,
you're not going to wear it out when we meet up.
Probably not.
Wow, not coming.
I mean, I'll take my etched cup out with my gamer tag on it, but not the shirt. The shirt's a step too far.
Yeah, sneaking some whiskey inside it.
Yeah, exactly. So that was all fun and games. Last time we spoke, I was playing the first Mass Effect. I've now completed the first Mass Effect. I had a great time. I'd probably give it like maybe an 8 or an 8.5. The first one. It was really good. I mean, you can tell it's dated in some ways. That's fine. You just have to have those sort of expectations when you go in. I think if I had played that at the time, I would have understood why it got like 90 and 95, you know. But what I'll tell you, and so I'm now like maybe somewhere between 5 or I'm like 10 hours into the second one, I think. And the pacing is surprisingly good considering the scope of these games. Like I completed the first one in 13, 14 hours.
Wow.
And the second one, I think, like as I say, I'm only like 10 hours into, and I'm coming into like the final chapter or the final act. You know, so I'm probably like 2/3 in, maybe just over.
I always thought they were longer games than that.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's loads in. They're just very dense. They're very dense games. Like you can go to lots of solar systems. Like there's not loads of planets to explore. There is a fair amount of side quests and stuff. There's lots to it, but the story in and of itself is just really well paced, and it's quite refreshing because I mean I've said on the podcast before, but games have this problem. I know I'm not the only one who think this, but games feel the need to make their stories really goddamn long, and I think as I've played more and more games, as I've gotten older and time has got more limited, like I definitely, not just for the sake of being convenient, but because I just feel the pacing is better when a game like wraps up in like 10 to 20 hours. There are some games where like if it's really, really engaging, it can like maybe push to 30. Like I said earlier, I played this Valhalla to the end. That was 70, and there were some points where I wanted to jam a pen into my eye. It was just like even games like Red Dead Redemption 2, like animations off the scale, voice acting off the scale, acting amazing. Still wanted to jam a pencil into my eye a couple of times just because game's too long, man. It's too fucking long. It's just bad pacing. Like you wouldn't expect a movie to go on for like 4 or 5 hours. You know, no matter how good it is, you're going to get bored at some point. Like Jesus, it's a bit much. You know. So I'm really happy, to be honest, that these games are quite dense and there's a lot to do. And this is why I think it's good, because you have those times where you're like, right, I want to play through the story, but then sometimes you have those times where it's like, I just want to whip on a podcast and like farm, you know, engage with the gameplay, get some resources, or maybe I want to do a side quest today, learn more about this character. So there's just that sort of thing. Whereas when it's like a tectonic, like colossal story, you feel pressured to just play the story because it's like this is never going to end otherwise. So that's my take on it so far.
Yeah, it's that the whole length of a game is quite a weird topic, isn't it? Because you kind of people, you know, developers will get slated for making a game that's not long enough. Yeah, exactly. It didn't get my value, but then you know, some games, so then they lengthen them with these needless, pointless things, and then people, weirdly enough, it gets accepted more positively in the gaming community because they feel like their value is more. Yeah, but like, it's
because it's a fair point on both sides. Like, you know, it's just, especially with price going up, like 70. You know, what are we on? We're not going to be 70 quid, are we? We'll be 60 quid, $70, whatever.
5,
yeah, whatever the conversion is here. I haven't bought a full price game in a while, but like, it just puts that bit more pressure to like make sure you have value. And it's like, you know, people try and do that metric of like pound per hour or dollar per hour, whatever, and like compare it to the cinema, you know, where like a game is technically better value for most part. You know, if you're playing it for 20 hours, like you work it out and it works out to a better value. But it's like, you can't really do that.
You can't like, compare those two things.
Yeah, exactly. Like enjoyment and like, you know, enjoying like the art form or, you know, the competitive side of it, whatever. Like there's just a real problem like putting like strict numbers on like a strict scale for that sort of stuff, I think, anyway.
No, I agree.
So, but at the same time, if you go to the extremes, it still becomes problematic. Like, you know, if you have a $70, £65 game that is, you know, 100 hours long, 100 hours to complete, yes, you get value, but no, are you going to complete it? Probably not, because the value's off. Even assuming, like I said, it's a 10 out of 10 perfect experience all the way through, you're still going to experience a level of fatigue. And that's because I just find that there's like an inherent problem with something being that long. And the other extreme is that, as like, if it's a $70 game, perfect experience, but it's only 5 hours long, might finish it, might have a great time, but was it worth 70 quid?
Yeah, it's tough to get right. Yeah. But yeah, there are some games that nail it pretty well, especially for like single player narrative. I feel like the Devil May Cry 5 was very well paced, long enough, but not too long, not too short. And it was just a complete product, you know. I never felt fatigue in Devil May Cry 5. And I just, But yeah, some games hit that sweet spot, some games don't. But yeah.
And of course, and like, that's like excluding all the variables of like, oh, are there elements of the gameplay which become a bit of a chore, like, you know, all of that sort of stuff. But yeah. So that's that. So like moving on to sort of Mass Effect 2, it's been great. Mass Effect 2 is quite a jump over Mass Effect 1, which I don't know why, I just wasn't expecting. Like the gameplay's a bit better. The cover shooting is shit. The shooting in general is good, like it feels snappy and responsive, but like going to cover, oh my god, it's not good. It's not good.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe I haven't played many cover shooters other than Gears. I'm trying to think of other ones that I've maybe Division.
Yeah,
Division and Gears are amazing.
Outriders.
Outriders,
the game that just didn't need that mechanic.
Yeah, well, if it's worse than that, like if Outriders is like a 5 out of 10 cover system, Mass Effect 1 was like a 1. Mass Effect 2 is like a 2.5. It's really not good. Yeah, you moving around is fine. You can go to cover, but it's just so like clunky and how you like go in and out of cover. It just anyway, yeah, it's not good. I'm sure some people will disagree with me, but I don't think it's very good at all.
Yeah, screw 'em.
So that's why I just play a mobile shepherd that runs and warps around with a shotgun, so I don't have to use cover. It's great.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so that's kind of my time with Mass Effect. Obviously, Knockout City with you and our other friends as well. I'd probably agree with a score in the 8 range. Probably maybe an 8.5. Probably wouldn't push it up to a 9 because I think it needed a few more maps. And the art style does nothing for me. It really does nothing for me. Yeah, that's that. Overall, really good game. Hopefully it thrives. It is doing quite well. It's like 4 million players or something in the first week, so it's doing well. And I don't know if you saw, but they made it so that because initially it was going to be £20 to just buy the game. Obviously, it's on Games Pass, but they made it so that the first 25 levels are free. You can get to level 25 without having to pay anything.
Oh, okay.
Which is great.
Neat.
Yeah,
that's neat. That's a new approach to a free game, a temporary free game. I quite like that.
And the last thing is just worth a shout out as well because they're kind of they're both upcoming releases, but I wanted to just shout out to Chivalry 2, which had a beta, which I got around to playing, which was really good. And PSO2 New Genesis is also coming out. I think it might even be the same day. June the 9th, and I think that's coming out exclusively on Xbox and PC to begin with anyway. Yeah,
it's cool. PSO2. I think I'm going to give that a go. The New Genesis.
I watched some gameplay of it, and it's looking sturdy, man. It's I described it earlier as Monster Hunter had a baby with an anime game, and then that anime game got really high and had the baby with Monster Hunter again.
Oh, interesting.
And maybe a bit of DMC in there as well. But yeah, so
maybe a little threesome with DMC.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's that. But yeah, cool. I mean, is there sort of anything else that's been happening that you want to go over? Because obviously the big discussion of the day is E3, and I'm pretty buzzed to get onto it.
No, yeah, let's move on. Let's do it.
Fucking do it, man. All right, here we go. And if you haven't watched our last video, you will notice that I have a new microphone.
And he spits into it.
And
so close.
That's so close.
I'm going to be having my crispy microphone soon as well. So I won't be doing this though. I'll be acting maturely.
It's ASMR QR ASMR. It's good, man.
Oh yeah. We're really taking it in a new direction.
We're changing the way ASMR works. So anyway, E3 is coming up. Obviously, we didn't have an episode after this got announced. June 13th is the big day. That is next Sunday. For us, it's 6 p.m. BST. I'm pretty sure that's 10 a.m. PT. Now, this has been a long time coming, and I've had how would you describe my emotional journey? my various emotions about this E3 over the last 3 months since we've started this podcast.
Well, you know that feeling you get when you take a sudden dip on a roller coaster?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like that, like 15 times for you. Just like,
right.
You know when roller coasters just slowly climbing.
Yeah.
Slowly climbing up that steep. That's you, like building your hype, and you're like,
yeah.
We'll probably see this. Man, Xbox is looking good. And then something is just like gets pulled, and then you're just like, drop. Yeah. That's it. And then you climb.
And then I climb back up. Yeah.
Yeah. That probably like maybe not 15 times, maybe like 8 times.
I couldn't have thought of a better analogy myself. I think that's perfect. Every second week, I get a cold bucket of water thrown on me by some insider who's saying that we won't get every single game released this year. Whatever. So yeah, I mean, I said this just to set the tone. I said this a few weeks back, but I think 2021 would have been the year of dividends of the Xbox acquisitions. Since that have happened since 2018, but I think COVID has pretty much made that a no-go. I mean, there's still obviously I'm expecting a good show. To be honest, I'm expecting a good show, but I think at some point when we first started the podcast, I was expecting, mic drop, banger, nuclear bomb inbound kind of thing, but I don't think that's going to be the case. What's your general expectation of E3 this year? Hit me with it.
I think it's going to be like you said. I think it's going to be good. No, I think it's going to be great, but just not fantastic. Like I'm expecting to see a lot of things we already know about, and they'll probably drop something on like a really close release date, like I don't know, like Psychonauts or something like that. Just be like,
flight maybe simulator.
Or something like that, and just be like, not maybe like today, but like in
next
a
month.
Week or something like that, or I'm expecting some stuff like that. I'm expecting to see a lot of things we already know about, like Halo Infinite and Starfield and some other stuff. I'd like to see some like Fable and stuff like that. Whether or not we will, I think we might get like a trailer for Fable. I don't think we'll get gameplay.
I'm gonna say we're absolutely not seeing Fable. I'm just gonna throw some water on you right now.
Is it being confirmed?
We're not.
Or are
seeing
you
Fable.
just being that guy?
I'm being a wizard. I'm pretty sure it's just not, man. We're just not seeing Fable.
I want to see a trailer.
It's way
just
further
some
out.
Pixies dancing on a flower.
Plus, and this is the thing, I think you've got to remember that according to some insiders, but also this is what Phil does. They listen to feedback nowadays. I don't know if you've heard of that concept, but
no.
Which I mean, it's sometimes it doesn't happen. So what that means is that I don't think we're going to see anything which isn't gameplay, mostly. So I think we're going to have a leaner show, which is going to focus on a handful of games. Other than like a couple of third parties. Maybe Battlefield, like I said, Psychonauts 2, maybe quick flight simulator. I think the big stuff and the new stuff is going to be gameplay. Anything that has a risk of being CGI.
You don't think we're going to see like a Elder Scrolls 6 teaser or anything?
Absolutely not.
No?
No way, man. Definitely not. That stuff's
I'm talking teaser, like more than the freaking title screen they gave us.
But this is the thing that Elder Scrolls, like how could it be? Because given that they've already done a teaser, we had an Elder Scrolls teaser like 2 years ago. They said, by the way, it's being developed, and then they did like a little. Have you not seen that?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, so I just don't think they're going to do another teaser. Like at this point, Phil's going to be holding Todd round the neck, like we can't show CGI. Look at what happened to us last year. So yeah, and like in terms of Fable, they're still hired. Like the writer only just joined the team last year. That game is not coming out anytime soon. Fable is like 2023 or 4, probably 4.
Okay.
Sorry. Maybe you'll experience what I've been experiencing for the last 12 weeks this episode. Yeah, Elder Scrolls ain't happening, especially because as well, if you think about that team, Bethesda Game Studios is working on, well, obviously Starfield at the moment. You've got to assume that they're not working on Fallout, but maybe they are.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because if they are, the next Fallout entry we're then seeing is probably 2028. And that's a 12-year gap between Fallout
I think
4.
we'll see the Fallout in this E3.
They'll just drop it. Fallout 6 out now. Elder Scrolls 7, 8 and 9 all out together, bundle pack.
Yeah.
So I don't think those two. What else do you think?
I mean, there are a few things I'm hyped about. So Fable was one of them. You just fucking pulled the rug from under my feet there.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right. I'll get over it. One that's not specifically Xbox related. I mean, I guess it's coming to Xbox. I think maybe, I don't know. I'd like to see some new Final Fantasy 16. I don't know if that will be there. I'd quite like to see some stuff on that.
Be Xboxes.
No, it won't be on Xboxes, but we're watching the whole E3 in general, right? So I just kind of wanted to brush over some games I'm looking forward to. And then obviously Avowed, but we've recently found out that I've got pulled.
Well, this is to be fair, that is a good one to go over because it's just been back and forth. A couple of insiders, there's like conflicting information on it, so I don't think it's impossible, but I think it's best that you expect that it's not there, and if it is, that's a treat.
Nah, if it's possible, I'm expecting it. I'm hyped now. Thanks for the glimmer of hope. Thanks for the rope you just tossed me.
Yeah, sorry. That's just Jeffy Grubb seems to think it's not going to be there, whereas a couple of insiders from Reset Error did think that it's going to be there. So there's conflicting information. It just depends who has the most recent information. That's the thing. But Jeff seems pretty confident, so I would say don't expect it. You know, even though the game is allegedly like on time, like it's despite the pandemic, Obsidian are doing a good job of keeping like on track. But and this is the sort of thing though, because it is annoying because if Avowed is possibly like a late, let's say early 2023, let's be optimistic, early 2023, does that mean they save it for next E3, or does that mean they like wait for some fucking like weird ugly duckling show? Like, when they revealed fucking, what did they revealed Perfect Dark at like XO 19 or something. No, Everwild at XO 19. They revealed Perfect Dark at, was that the Video Game Awards maybe? Anyway, I just think they need to sort of centralize all their announcements and really just hit these E3 announcements home instead of spreading things out over the year. But that's just my take. No, I agree. It's definitely one of those. It's like you said. It's one of those games you want to reveal on the biggest stage. You know, the biggest show. Yeah, and I think
it's kind of a big deal.
If they did things differently, then my answer would be different. You know, if they were known to do things like Nintendo Directs, you know, or State of Play that Sony does, where they give you a chunk of gameplay, then fucking do that throughout the year. But they don't. So in that case, it's just like, just kind of unload the clip, you know. But that's so we probably, we're going to assume we're not going to see that, but that was pretty high on my list. You're going to be so defeated by the end of the episode.
Something like that, yeah. And then, there is stuff that we know we're going to see, like it's very high up on my list as well, like Halo Infinite. Okay. Obviously, that's extremely high up on my list.
And let me stop you right there. What do you want to see of Halo Infinite?
Oh, okay. You've actually it's been pulled.
Yeah.
I was like, no
it's
way.
A PlayStation exclusive now. Sorry, bro. Yeah. Okay. So specifically, after the back of the show last year, tell me what you would like to see of Halo, and then tell me what you think we will realistically see of Halo.
I don't know. I just kind of want to see more of what we saw. Like similar setting, that sort of sandbox open world, maybe like a decent chunk of like a mission,
So you want to see
something
campaign?
Like that. Yeah, and then I also want to see I wouldn't mind seeing a glimpse into multiplayer as well. I don't see why they can transition that into like also showing off a bit of multiplayer too. Right? Is that too crazy? Is that too much to ask? A little bit of campaign, transition into multiplayer.
Interesting. Well, so like that little teaser we got last month with like it was like a circle, and but they're like it was like a logo for the game showcase for E3, and there was like Spartans on it. Do you remember seeing that?
I do.
Yeah. I think it's on the notes somewhere. But anyway, that was like none of those Spartans were Chief. I think this is a multiplayer reveal. I don't know if we see and like a lot of other people in the community have speculated.
Chief at the front.
Nah, it's not Chief at the front, dude.
Helmet. Yeah,
it looks like, and there's even Emil on the left, or Emil's helmet from Reeves. So that
someone
makes me
just
think,
robbed Emil's corpse.
Yeah, exactly. This makes me think that this is like customized Spartans. This is going to be a multiplayer reveal. Which, to be fair, the game's launching in November. Hello.
Hey.
What the fuck was that? I don't know if that got picked up on any of the...
What happened?
It sounded like someone just fired a laser gun at me. What was that? What was that?
Was it my chair squeaking?
No, it was not. certainly hope not. I don't know what it was. I'm going to sound crazy because I bet it didn't get picked up on anything. It just came.
We'll keep that in as a blue phone and see if anyone can hear it.
Just that's great. Nowhere. Hello.
Yeah, keep that in. That'll be funny. Anyway, So multiplayer reveal. Well, you don't think we're going to see any form of single player? You don't think we're going to see like a nice little checkpoint of a mission or something like that?
I don't think we get any. No. Because I think if you bear in mind as well, it's an Xbox and Bethesda game showcase, and there's 90 minutes. A fairly long show. And you've got to start asking yourself how much time do they dedicate to a game which is going to have its own marketing campaign in the months leading up to it, and it's already a game that they've already showed off.
I think I'm underestimating the chunk we actually saw at the previous E3. It was a pretty healthy. Yeah, it was a pretty healthy amount. So maybe I'm just remembering that a bit fuzzy. And multiplayer is a huge deal. That is what that's the selling point for so many Halo fans. So they are going to want to show that off and confirm it. And man, I just hope Ground Pound's still in.
Oh, everybody does, and the Sprint Bash. Oh
God, like just
thinking about it makes me hard. I love that stuff.
Such good additions to the game.
So good.
Yeah, I mean we're a bit like we're taking the piss. There are people that hated Sprint in Halo, and that's stupid. Sprint is fine in Halo. But things like Ground Pound, they have no place in Halo. And the Sprint Dash, they have zero place in Halo.
I
Keep the Sprint, I'm happy with that. What?
I don't agree. I think they do.
You don't like Sprint? Oh, sorry.
No.
I was like...
Sprint, to be honest, as I've gotten older, like I could take it or leave it. I honestly don't care. As long as Halo is a good game, I really don't care. I'm not on either side of that fence, The other stuff, like the Ground Pound, I quite liked Ground Pound. The Sprint, the Bash was the biggest piss take to me in 5. But honestly, it could work for me in campaign. If people don't like them in multiplayer, then fine, don't leave them. But I just like...
Yeah.
I hate, and we've spoken about this before, but I hate the idea of Master Chief being some sort of fucking weird, robot on wheels who, can't do anything other than jump kind of high. And that's it.
Jump kind of high and click on heads.
So, yeah, I like that they have those abilities. But whatever, like I said, as long as it plays well, and if they're going to convert those into, equipment instead, that works for me. Honestly, I just want Halo to be good.
Yeah, those things do help with the power fantasy that you are a Spartan. You're supposed to be... they probably could shoulder barge through a brick wall. I'm certain they could. Yeah. So it kind of makes sense, but it's fulfilling that power fantasy without it being annoying to play against.
Yeah, for sure,
and the Sprint Bash was just so... It was awful. I just didn't like... Ground Pound was tolerable because it wasn't even good, so you never really saw anyone use it.
It's fucking
really.
Cool, though.
And if it worked, you kind of felt like a badass because it was a pretty crap mechanic that, you could gank someone over a doorway, I guess, maybe. But Sprint Bash was just obnoxious. It was just obnoxious.
I hate the Bash.
It was awful.
Yeah, so... I feel like with all of that in mind, I feel like we see multiplayer reveal. I mean, like I said, it's pretty much right there on the logo design. I think we're gonna. I don't know how much we see. I don't know if we're just gonna see a trailer or if we're gonna get see a whole match.
It'd be cool to see an in-game trailer. Showing off all the stuff. You see for Apex Legends and Call of Duty, when they show off their map packs and they show off, the in-game sort of trailers. That'd be kind of cool to see, little montage and going through customization and going through the game modes and
And to be fair, I think one of the things I'm most excited about is to see what new modes they've got. Because I was a late bloomer for Big Team Battle.
It's good.
Fucking sick, really fun.
It's good.
It's just really good.
It's crazy.
It works really well in Halo. The vehicles are a ton of fun. I'm not, and neither are you, particularly one for vehicular combat or anything like that. But they're really fun in Halo. There's something about it. It just kind of feels
it's a bit more goofy.
Yeah.
It's a bit different. Someone just hopping in a tank in Battlefield and just being obnoxious.
Yeah.
Halo, there's still lots of ways to counter vehicles in Halo. even if it's just jumping up and hijacking a Banshee because he went too low to the ground.
And don't forget grapples. You got grapples this time.
Oh yeah, grab that Banshee
if you've got equipment. Yeah, so I'm excited to see like what types of equipment there are in there because I'm hoping that a lot of them are creative. So just from the demo last year, we saw like a one-way shield. We saw the grapple. I'm hoping there's some other stuff as well.
Oh yeah. No, I'm sure there will be.
And supposedly, like I know a couple of insiders have said that there's supposed to be like a big, almost like, what was it called? Invasion, or like a rush mode from Battlefield. It was called Invasion Reach, wasn't it? Where you like push through the different, and like you had to push through to an objective, and then you broke through to the next part and the next part, and you kept pushing them back until you got to the end.
Yeah, I think that was called Invasion. Yeah, that was a great game mode. I think it was one of the game modes I put the most time into in Reach.
No, it was wicked.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was really satisfying, and that's what I mean. It's same for. It was called Rush, I'm pretty sure in Battlefield.
In Battlefield, yeah.
So that sort of game in Halo, perfect fit. Wonderful. So like I hope we see something like that. Classic game modes, obviously Halo 5 got blasted for coming out pretty skinny on the game modes, which was a problem for me as well, because I like things like multi-team. I like things like SWAT here and there, but I don't even know if that was there at launch.
I don't think it was actually.
Yeah,
I don't think SWAT was there for launch.
It's kind of the lifeblood of what Halo multiplayer is. They have a lot of varied game modes. So things like Griffball, or like Oddball, yeah, all of that stuff is cool. You don't have that much variety usually in these multiplayer shooters. So yeah, I think we definitely see. I think we see a solid chunk of maybe like a whole match, so like 15 minutes of multiplayer gameplay. Probably in this new game mode, if that is to be believed. And then I think we see like a new Halo Infinite trailer, which is the one they're going to plaster everywhere until the game comes out. It's going to be like spliced in multiplayer gameplay, some spliced in new new campaign gameplay, and I think that's what we see.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty reasonable assumption, because I mean, you mentioned seeing like a whole multiplayer game. Was it like one of the E3s for Halo 5, or it might have just been a random video? But did they show off like an entire like game on that breakout game mode?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, where it was like, it was like really serious. They were like, Halo goes competitive.
Yeah.
And boring. It was fine. I actually enjoyed Breakout. It was a good game mode. So they did do that on stage. They did show like an entire game of that. Yeah, I do remember that.
Absolutely. So there's and there is like a whole conversation about whether like there's been a lot of debate online about whether they should be showing more gameplay rather than multiplayer. Because on one hand, obviously, they want to show off the multiplayer. That's fresh. We haven't seen that yet. That could get people very excited again. And they want to get the flighting out. They've said that they want to do flighting, betas, to make sure everything's running smoothly for when the game does come out. And that could be a big thing for a lot of people. Like, fans would buy an Xbox to get to play a beta for a week of Halo if it's looking really fun, let's not forget the extent people went to for Crackdown back in the day. That people bought Crackdown just to play the beta, and that gave that IP, at least for 5 or so years, enough of a fan base to turn into its own IP. So this stuff does get people playing, but there is a debate of should they show more campaign gameplay on the other side of that because of the reception last year. What do you think?
I mean, I said, when we started this conversation that I would like to see more campaign, and I would like to see multiplayer alongside it. I don't think it needs to show more campaign. I think it wouldn't hurt it, but I don't think it needs to. I'd be happy with just seeing multiplayer, and then, like you said, maybe they drop a cool overall package. This is Halo trailer, well. And then people can just dissect the crap out of it, and just be like, wow, we saw this, and this guy like shot that guy with a bubble gun, and I don't know, I'm just spitballing it, but I don't think it necessarily needs to, but I do think it would help.
Yeah, I think there should be something, but this is the thing. I think they're aware that for anybody who like watched the showcase last year and thought that was dreadful, absolutely dreadful, 0 out of 10. I don't think any amount of polishing they do is going to change your mind that it, do you know what I mean? Like, yes, some of the stuff looked a bit rough. Nobody's going to disagree with you there. But if they've scrubbed that stuff up and you're still coming away from it and saying absolutely dreadful, 0 out of 10, then it's like, the game's not for you, man. Like, it's, so
yeah. If you care that much about what a brute's head looks like under a helmet after you've killed it, then whatever.
The exact frame of it move. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Or whatever. And like, I'm not expecting the game to be a graphical showcase. That's the thing. I'm expecting it to look good because some of the thing is, some of the shots from the showcase last year were genuinely really good. Like the environmental shots looked really nice. So I'm expecting it to look good. And don't get me wrong, like I will like scrutinize the game if it doesn't look as good as it should. But I don't think, I think it's going to look great. I'm not expecting it to blow my mind to the level of something like Horizon, but this is a 60 frames a second game running at 4K in a largely open world. I think they're kind of different comparisons.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I completely agree. I think it will look great. But yeah, it won't take anyone's breath away. I don't feel like Halo ever has taken anyone's breath away graphically, so I don't know what this expectation is, or where it's come from.
I'd say it's literally because it was supposed to come out alongside the launch of Series X. Do you know what I mean? And now it's not. So, but it was kind of that thing of like, this is going to show off the power of the Series X.
Yeah.
I mean, you're absolutely right. Like Halo 3 back in the day, I could whip up some articles right now where literally they're the same conversations we're having about Halo 3 not looking good, and where Halo 3 is in the pantheon of video game history.
It never has been a graphical showcase of a video
Halo
game
4
ever.
and 5 were great looking games, and Halo 4 in particular is known for being a very good looking game for its time. So 343 have the chops for it. It depends on the limitations they're working with. Obviously, there's a whole conversation about releasing it cross-gen back to the Xbox One. I imagine that's going to be quite painful. But as long as it's running smooth, I'm hoping it looks good. The skyboxes looked really nice last year. I just want... And the screenshots we've seen from the Inside Infinites over the last few months have looked really good as well. So just show me that in motion for a couple of seconds in a trailer and I'll be happy as a happy chappy.
Yeah, exactly. I think outside of multiplayer, you don't... Apart from, maybe just reassuring people in a certain way, I don't really think you need to show much single player wise. I think they're quite okay chucking it in a montage trailer. I don't think it needs its own segment. I don't think it needs 5-10 minutes. Just put it in a trailer.
Yeah, and, like we say, this is Halo we're talking about, so it's going to have its own advertising campaign. Marketing campaign as we get close to the launch, so there's going to be more of it that we see because, as I say, maybe they show off Forge. I don't know, but I'm sure this is
potentially.
Stuff and custom games, things like that. Maybe that's part of multiplayer. Who knows? But this is stuff I think we see in the run up. But this could be definitely the big eye catching moment of multiplayer looks really really fun. So we'll see.
And it's a huge deal for us as well. I mean, just to set the scene, we're meeting up with a group of friends, about four, five of us, and we're all going to be watching E3 in a room together. And I have to admit, seeing some crispy Halo multiplayer will
we'll get the boys bouncing.
The juices flowing, because we do, that's a big deal for us.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be exciting. Absolutely. Yeah. Sweet. Anything else to say about Halo?
No. I think we've covered quite a bit on Halo. And I guess release date, we can cover that a little bit. I guess it's still looking to be this year, isn't it? But I feel like there are some whispers that it might not be.
No, well, there actually are. Yeah. Well, I mean, because I said that they said that the 20th anniversary Xbox celebration is going on through till November the 16th, and I was like, doing that monkey sock thing with his eyes, like the eye emoji. I was like, that's it, isn't it? That's the release date. But at the same time, there has something people are still saying that I think Jeff Grubb even said that it's still possibly tossing up the idea of releasing multiplayer and campaign separately, which I really don't think they should do. I understand why. Play. I understand the logistics of it. I understand that multiplayer games can launch free to play these days and kill it. You know, Apex done that, Fortnite's done that. You know, but it's going to piss off the Halo fans, and I think we're at the point where those are the ones you need to start pleasing. Unfortunately,
yeah,
for the most part.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you said that Apex released multiplayer only, but they didn't release that. That is the game.
But that's what I'm saying, though. But you know, if they just release the Halo multiplayer, people aren't going to be like, "Oh, well, I'm not going to play it until I get the campaign." Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't make any sense. So yeah, that's all. So
yeah, it's a little bit weird.
I don't think they will.
No,
I mean, I'm a know nothing Nelly, but I really can't see them doing it. You know, Phil's on record saying he doesn't want to do it. He was on an interview a while back saying that it was being tossed up, but they decided to delay everything so they could just get it polished. You know, they delayed it a year, man. It's a long time.
It's a very long time.
You know, so it was a big deal. So I really doubt it. So I think November. I'm thinking November 16th still. I don't think it's any earlier. Some people have been saying that September is actually a date, so a bit further forward.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's safe to assume that with the whole 20th anniversary and all the marketing behind that, I think it'd be a cool release date, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I think even I agree with you. But obviously earlier the better, sure.
As long as it's finished,
but I'm happy with
ready
November
to go.
16th. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I
wouldn't even be against another delay. Like, sure, I'd be pissed off, but
I wouldn't either.
Just like any regular gamer would. But like, you know, just make me the game I want. You know, even if it does take a little bit longer. I'm not sitting in my room staring at a wall only waiting for Halo. There are other things that occupy my time.
Yeah.
Just give me the game I want. But I think we're much more mature than the average gamer.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, ultimately, I think no, we should move on. I think November, maybe a bit earlier, as long as the game's ready. And that's that.
Yep.
Wicked. All right, so we've spoken a bit about Avowed. We've spoken a bit about Fable. We've now touched on Halo. You made a fool of yourself and said Elder Scrolls. Anything else?
Brutal. Well, I had mentioned Final Fantasy as well. You were like, "Oh, only Xbox."
Are you not an Xbox zealot like I am? Unbelievable.
Yeah. But no, there's no need to talk about Final Fantasy. But just in case anyone was curious, Final Fantasy is I do enjoy those games. So yeah, Obviously, we're going to be seeing. I guess another hot topic would be Starfield, right?
Another hot topic would absolutely be Starfield.
I don't know if this jumbles up your notes, but I feel like this is kind of just a okay, all right, Starfield. You know, we're obviously going to be just cringing. My notes.
No, that's good. It's good.
We're obviously going to be seeing quite a lot of Starfield, I think, right? We'll see some. Huh?
What do you think that we'll see?
Well, I just think we'll see some fucking gameplay, right? We haven't seen any. Yeah. We've seen a screenshot of someone staring at a wall. A little cheeky bit of UI. Yeah, that was leaked. Yeah, that
supposedly leaked. Yeah, we don't even know if it's actually true or not.
Basically,
it seems to be.
Let's be honest.
It seems to be right.
Yeah, we'll just see some gameplay. I don't know. Someone traveling to a planet, entering the planet, getting out of his ship, collecting some herbs. How much detail you want me to go into here?
Making a roast dinner.
Make a lovely meal. And then he falls asleep, but he gets to lock the doors and he gets attacked by the wildlife.
Whoa.
And okay. I'm painting quite a good picture here.
Yeah, you should be.
Bethesda, hit me up if you want me to direct one of your trailers.
Trailer director, right?
Right. We'll just see some gameplay, man. Surely, right?
This is the old Jimmy John. So supposedly, I mean, you'll remember as part of that experience of me going up the roller coaster and having that sinking feeling every 2 weeks. I was expecting that Starfield would be out by 2021, and it's been a recurring conversation of where Starfield actually is week by week. And it seems to be that it's probably more 2022. And we've said, that's fine, makes sense. Gives Halo the space to breathe, yada, yada, yada. It seems a lot of people are now saying that, Jason Schreier from Bloomberg said that he thinks the game's actually more looking at holiday 2022. So, in which case, so again, this is something where there's conflicting reports from different insiders, but this is another one of those games where I'm like, I think we'll see something. I think we'll see like a spliced trailer, like we usually get with like, a mostly CGI trailer with like bits and bobs of gameplay in it. That's what I think we'll get. I don't think we'll get a gameplay walkthrough, because if the game is truly that far out...
What else are Bethesda going to use for their...
With what? They're going to do with their presence there?
Yeah.
What you mean? Yeah.
Yeah. They got 90 minutes, you were saying?
They do, yeah. 90
there's
minutes.
Some... there's some stuff, but I feel
Arkane,
like Starfield
buddy.
would... That's true. But then, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So...
Checks out.
It's a good point. Because it would only... If that's true, and they're showing, they show Starfield off, and then, of course, the Arkane game, we've spoken about this, is Project Omen, supposedly. This is like... The cat is out of the bag on this one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, do you remember what we were talking about, the vampire game?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Yeah. So the cat's out the bag. Like, loads of insiders are speaking about this. Like, it's pretty much a confirmed thing now, which is, it's just it's what you get for being a fucking web crawler like I am. You find out about stuff and then regret finding out about it. So that is Arkane Austin, I think. Yeah, Arkane Austin, as opposed to Leon, who are going to reveal that. So that would be Arkane's second presence, and that would likely be. It will be a AAA immersive sim vampire game. Probably it's what they do. So that's, I would say that's a lock. That's a lock with a reveal trailer with gameplay in it, maybe a gameplay walkthrough, and that's going to fucking knock everyone's socks off. That's going to be stellar, absolute bomb drop.
Yeah, and wait, is that a game looking to come out this year?
Don't know.
Because I was about to say, it's a bit. Why would they be showing gameplay and so much info on that, but not something like Starfield, which I feel like people have known about for a lot longer, and is also potentially this year?
Well,
what makes you think?
I think it's because it's the team that did Dishonored 2. I think. No, it's not. It's the team that did Prey, and Prey was a while back. That's why I think it. Prey was 2018.
You think they've just been a snake in the grass, and they're quite close to finishing a game, and then they're just going to be like, "We love vampires."
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, they have their own engine. It's called Chaos Engine or whatever. And so Prey is 2017. So by the end of this year, we're already looking at 4 years in development. So this is. If it's coming out in 2022, we're looking at 5 years. So this is an efficient studio. Arkane are efficient because they reuse. Why it's important that I bring up that they use the Chaos Engine is because they use that for all their games. Deathloop, Dishonored 1 and 2, Prey, they're all on the same engine. So they made that engine, so they're clearly very comfortable with it. So I don't think it releases this year. I think it releases Q1, Q2, 2022.
Okay. And
that's going to be big.
I think we're... that's cool, and I agree. We will see that, like, no doubt. Like, at least in some form of it. I think we'll probably see a little bit more of Starfield than you think. Personally, I'm going to go against the grain here. I'm not going to agree with you. You're saying we don't see that much Starfield. I think we'll see it. I think we'll see a little bit. The reason
I think we just get like maybe a 2.5 minute long trailer, which isn't something to scoff at. You can get quite a lot out of that, Billy. You've got like bits of CGI. It lays down the story in the world for you. You get snippets of gameplay in there. The reason I say that is because if Holiday 2022 is a generous bet, assuming development hasn't been delayed by COVID and we aren't looking at early 23 or something, why would they not show it next E3? Especially because Bethesda have like a tendency, they like showing stuff and then releasing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure that's just their style. Like, they like to show, like, Fallout 4 is notorious for being like, they showed it in July and then the game was out in September. I think it was September. So I just don't see them showing it now just to have us wait for another E3 and then still be 6 months off. Like that much. So, who knows. But because the Xbox are definitely going to be leaning into Starfield as like their, if it is 2022, as their 2022 like a big hitter in the same way that it's got loads of hype behind it and the game hasn't. We know nothing about it. Like, it's crazy, and we obviously have covered kind of the rumours, and all signs seem to be pointing towards it being an exclusive, which of course it bloody well should be. So it's going to be drawing a lot of clout for Xbox. So I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they want to give that its own time instead of giving it the same level of in-depthness that Halo is getting, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. That's a convincing argument.
That's my reasoning.
That's a convincing argument.
Thanks, man. It's been lonely. You've been away all weekend for cricket. I've been thinking a lot.
Just contemplating these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, we're not going to see anything like State of Decay 3, I don't think. Are we?
And the thing is, because I mean, in the next E3 video that we do, for those that aren't aware, we plan on doing another coverage. We'll do like a video of the Xbox game showcase that happened last year, and we kind of want to talk through it like we did with the 2013 on our channel. Go check it out. Lots of those games I don't think we see. I don't think we see much of. I don't think, in actual fact, I don't think we see any of those games. Other than
we're going to see any of them.
And this is just the weirdness of where Xbox is at.
That is weird. I would expect to see more of those games, but whatever.
But the thing is, of course, you've got to think that the Bethesda acquisition didn't happen, or didn't get announced until after E3. This time last year, we didn't know that this Bethesda was going to be part of Xbox. It only happened in like October. So that's going to like obviously take up a chunk of the show, whether it's Omen or Starfield. Which, by the way, I just want to reiterate, having now like gotten into the sci-fi mood, I'm so fucking excited for Starfield. Wow. And I know this is off topic, but I just really want to, because this really got my heart pounding. There's like, so on Mass Effect you can go to like the galaxy map and you can like look at all the planets, and there's like loads, there's got to be hundreds. You can't like land on them, but you can see like a little excerpt about them and you can scan them to get resources, but like I said, you don't actually land on them. And they've got their own little models, and they spin around, and they look fucking cool. And they all have like very unique entries. And one of them was like, nobody knows much about this planet. Like it's a gas giant, which like scientists think has a bit of a core in the middle, so not quite a gas giant, but whatever. And upon approaching, and on scanning, there's no life on its dead planet. But on approaching, there's giant shadows that are there, but whenever you get too close, the giant shadows rescind, and then when you get close enough, there's nothing on the planet again, and that's all. That's it. And I was like, that is so cool. Like just a stupid little like bit of text like that just got me so excited. I was like, imagine seeing that like properly visualized. This is the sort of thing I would give to a Bethesda game studio, and I'd be like, go and make a universe where like something fucking crazy is happening on every planet. Do you know what I mean? Just weird stuff like that.
It's an insane project, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've been working on it for ages. Development's been going on since like 2014 or something,
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
No, it definitely is a very cool concept.
But like I said, we don't even know. Like, it could literally be an on-rails story game on the moon. It's probably not, but I'm kind of in my head. We've spoken about this before. It's more of like a really beefed up No Man's Sky. Like a really beefed up Bethesda style No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Like, RPG kind of elements, but yeah.
Yeah. It's exciting. It's very exciting. Your excitement for it is quite unhealthy.
Yeah, so anyway, sorry for that sideline.
No, it's fine. We were still technically talking about Starfield anyway, it's fine.
Good. I always like to get it on a technicality.
Yeah.
What were we saying then?
Oh, I was just going through stuff in my head, and I was just like, we're not going to see State of Decay 3.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so everything we saw last year, I don't think we see, and that brings me on to the other game that I'm like, really, I was so sure we'd see it. I was so disappointed we didn't see it last year. It was Hellblade 2. You were literally, I remember we were watching it last year, and it was ending, you were like,
Where's Hellblade? Where's Hellblade 2?
Yeah,
I remember you saying that.
They did a little like developer entry. Like we one of the lead developers, or maybe community managers, I think it maybe was, like had a little segment. He was like, "Oh, we're developing it in Iceland. We're doing this, and that. We'll see you later. Thanks." And that was kind of it. Like there was no new trailer because obviously Hellblade got revealed before last E3. It got revealed at the video. No, was it even at the Video Game Awards? It might have even been
I think
19 with Everwild.
No, I think it was at the Video Game Awards.
Might have been, yeah. You might be right. So it's been a long... And that was like that trailer got everyone really excited. I don't know if you remember it. It gave off like big cult vibes. Very spooky. Yeah. Lots of limbs everywhere.
Spooky.
It's the sort of stuff you want in your trailers. And we haven't seen anything from it since. And I was sure we'd see like some gameplay. Ninja Theory are wizards, so they're going to create a real... they're going to create a... we know that it's only going to be on Series X, so it's going to be exclusive next gen. It's going to be a graphical showcase, and I just, if they're not ready, they're not ready. That's fine. It is what it is. But it's just like I'm quite excited to see more about it. And we said in a previous episode that some insiders were talking about a game that they expected to be there, which has been pulled, and we speculated that game was Hellblade 2, and like that it seems to be more and more the case that is what is happening. So bit of a bummer, but we'll wait and see. Nothing's confirmed, but.
Yeah,
I think a gameplay demo of Hellblade 2 would knock everyone's collective socks off.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. Especially as a built from the ground up, next gen only game, as you said.
And I think if you remember, we also said about them wanting to use Unreal Engine 5, and that's not fully like finalizing until the end of the year. So it's not really.
Yeah.
It seems pointless for them to show off gameplay if they haven't even got the engine finalised yet, so I understand why, if that's the case.
Yeah. I think, with a lot of the evidence in play, we're probably not going to see it.
So that's that. Anything else? What else did we see last year? Hit me with it.
Didn't we see some Everwild, didn't we? We won't see that though.
So this is another one. Yeah, we saw a gameplay. We've now seen 2 CGI trailers of Everwild. Again, Everwild, I'm pretty sure we saw it at XO19 for the first time. They revealed that. Rare's next big game. Pretty big deal. Again, revealed at a show that nobody really watches or nobody really cares about. And then they showed that trailer last year. That trailer, by the way, is fucking sick.
Very cool trailer.
Really cool. Still don't know what the game is.
No.
Until you play as like shamans that like interact with animals. Fucking cool. The music direction sounds so good. But what's the game? What do I do? What do I do in the video game? Do I catch these boys? Do I what do I do? Do they catch me? I don't know.
It's Rare's answer to Pokemon.
Yeah, I know. So
it's 100%.
A gameplay. Some people have been speculating that the game has been like rebooted in development. So we're definitely not seeing any gameplay of that. And they're not going to... I'm sure they would love to show another trailer because they make some absolutely stunning trailers. But again, according to feedback from last year, don't think they're going to do it. So this is where, with all we've been saying so far, this is why I keep saying that I think this year would have been a big year, but when you compound COVID and like the staggered acquisition that Microsoft have had from 2018, 19 and 20 with Bethesda, I think you start seeing Xbox firing all the cylinders by 2023. And Bethesda stuff is going to help in the meantime, but yeah, again, all of this stuff is stuff that I would have I'm absolutely dying to see, but it's just not happening yet. So that's Everwild.
Yeah.
Anything else? There's one other one that I'm thinking of. It goes vroom vroom.
Elden Ring. Okay. Forza Horizon 5. I want to say 5.
So the thing is, last year they revealed Forza Motorsport.
Yeah.
Which is weird because none of the speculation or chatter from insiders seems to indicate that we're seeing Forza Motorsport. We know that game is getting like entirely reworked. They're like revamping like the engine, and everything else, so that it has. I think there's arguably like more of a narrative structure to the new Forza. I think I remember reading that somewhere. But we didn't see anything about Forza Horizon. But as like if you've been following the podcast or literally any other Xbox podcast anywhere, Forza Horizon is heavily speculated to be revealed this E3, with even actually coming out this year, and it's meant to be in Mexico, obviously. So again, this is another game which was not shown last year, but might be coming out of nowhere. I mean, what do you think about the possibility of seeing a Forza Horizon for this year?
I think it's pretty. Well, maybe. I don't know. I don't really follow Forza that much. To be really honest, I think. Yeah, it was
when 4 came out.
What, the 4? It was. Oh yeah. I'm trying to think as well. It was quite a while ago now. It was a decent while ago. I think. I mean, do you mean just seeing it, or do you mean like it coming out this year?
Yeah, I mean, like overall, what do you think? Do you think we see a gameplay? Do you think we see cutscene? Do you think we see?
I think we'll see it.
A release date
this year? I think we'll see Forza Horizon 5. Where was it? It was Japan, wasn't it? No, Mexico.
Mexico, yeah. Speculation was Japan, but it seems to be more pointed towards Mexico.
Yeah, I think we'll see it, and we'll see like some. I think we'll see some gameplay. I think normally when they. If they were to reveal it, they normally show it off with some gameplay, don't they? They don't just drop like a trailer. They normally like show off someone driving around a track or something like that. They give it some time. At least they have in previous ones. Obviously not a track. That's Motorsport.
Yeah.
I don't think it will be out this year though.
So
I think the release date will be like sort of, Q1, Q2, 2022.
Yeah, right. And this is some people do think that Forza is coming out this year, Forza Horizon.
Okay.
And they have been. I mean, Forza Horizons generally are announced quite close to when they are released. So yeah, I mean, Forza Horizon 4 was announced at E3 2018, and then released in October 2018. So.
Oh wow.
I don't think it's off the cards that this could be also a 2021 release. So yeah, I mean, it could happen. I think it's also been said that the game is going to be cross-gen. I'm pretty sure Jeff Grubb said this. I hope I'm not misquoting anyone. If he didn't say that, then I would say I would be pretty confident that it would be cross-gen because it's going to come out around the same time as Halo. I don't see the point of making this one the one which is cross-gen, Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I think the next Forza Motorsport, I think that will be the next-gen only one. So it will still look amazing. Always does, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense to give the next-gen one. If a Motorsport is in the works, make that the next-gen only one as a real graphical showcase, as considering it's a racing sim, more so than Horizon. But yeah, I think we'll see it. I think we'll see it on stage.
I'm like very confident that we'll see it. Whether it's this year is sort of the contention. So, in summary, so far we've got Halo Infinite, probably multiplayer with a little bit of campaign. We've got Starfield with who the fuck knows what. We've got
everything.
Forza Horizon 5 probably, but maybe this year, but also maybe not. And we've got Project Omen from Arkane, which we'll see, but who knows how much of, or what it is really, or really what, or when it's going to be. So we've got 4. We've got 4 games. Usually you need more than 4 games to fill out a 90-minute conference. I mean, what do I know? But I feel like that's probably not enough. So we have spoken about maybe... Well, let's polish off first party first. So there is one... We've spoken about a couple of things that Xbox Publishing is doing with other third-party studios. One of them being Project Typhoon, as teased by Jez Corden from Windows Central. You remember this, don't you? We spoke about this.
I do.
That's supposedly being developed by Avalanche Studios, who developed Just Cause and co-developed. Who developed Just Cause, Mad Max, and co-developed Rage 2 with Bethesda. And recently, Jeff Grubb said that he thinks the word contraband is in the title. It's supposedly a shared world game, a multiplayer game that's not a loot shooter, that it's its own thing. It's very unique. There's some vehicles involved at some point, and contraband might be in the title. Where does that leave you?
Not with much, to be honest. Vehicles, contraband. Well, I don't know. What does it leave with you?
We have nothing.
I was about to say, what is contraband? I remember that.
It's
what does it mean?
It's like smuggled goods into somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe it'll be like a heisty kind of game or something. That's what I was thinking. But I wanted to double check the definition of contraband before I sound like an idiot. But
I don't think you're the only one.
Some kind of heisty. And to be fair, I love me some Payday 2. So
it's raising my eyebrows.
Pretty cool.
Imagine.
Pretty cool.
Imagine the thing is that they've said it's not. What we've said is it's not a looter shooter. I don't know if that means shooter is off the cards. I don't know. Apparently, it's very ambitious. Like it's the biggest thing that Avalanche has done so far to date. Maybe you play as a cartel and smuggling drugs across the border.
Ooh,
I don't know.
That'd be pretty good. Giving people ideas.
Yeah, and this is one that I'm excited to see. So
drug
far,
smuggling simulator.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. Stuff this up your butt.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
30 flexibility required. So it's like so far the only guarantee I feel the only guaranteed knockout thing we've got is Project Omen, because we all know Arkane do amazing stuff. And this is, if it's, in the same vein of Prey or Dishonored, it's about fucking vampires. Like that's going to be
cool.
Killer.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
And I'll take an egg on the face if it doesn't look good, but I'm sure it will. I'm sure it'll be cross-gen as well. That's fine. Right. Nobody should really care at this point with the console shortage and the superconductor supply restrictions and all of that. No one should really care. A couple more years, fine. Start whining, but most people don't even have their hands on a current gen console. And the games will still look damn good. So
great.
This, however, what I was getting onto is like this. I think this could genuinely be another knockout of the show. It just depends what we see and what it is, and if it has that sort of appeal.
Yeah.
It's just purely dependent on literally what it is, because obviously we know the game hasn't been revealed yet, other than the details we just gave. It's just gossip, really.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to talk about how much of a splash it will make, but nonetheless,
it's exciting nonetheless, because it's we've all been crying for like new IP from Microsoft for a while, and I think it's kind of bold to be going for like a partnership for like a shared world game, an exclusive one as well. Yeah. I can't think of another one. Sea of Thieves isn't really a shared. So I don't know. Literally, we don't know what we're talking about. But I think it's just exciting that there's like new IPs being invested into. Like people seeing new stuff at a show is really good. It's part of the reason why Avowed was one of the most like exciting things for like everyone last year, because nobody knew what that was.
Yeah.
New IP
100%.
from Obsidian.
Yeah.
Wow. This looks great.
Yeah.
We don't even know much about it. We got mostly like a trailer, like maybe a bit of in-engine gameplay it looked like, but it was enough to get people excited, because it's like new IP. Wow, this could become a big new franchise for Xbox, and that's exciting to a lot of people. I think we got the same thing here.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need much to wet people's whistle. You just need it's just cool regardless.
New stuff.
And
new stuff.
Yeah,
is exciting.
and hopefully it appeals to a lot of people. But
yeah, Okay, so I mean, I think we've covered what I feel like are going to be sort of the 5 big things. It's Halo Infinite, Starfield, Forza Horizon, Project Omen, Project Typhoon. I think they're pretty much locks for the show. According to all the gossip and the web crawling that I've done. Again, this is a 90-minute show, so where's the rest of that time going? I think we see a bit of Psychonauts 2 coming out this month. Woo! This year, whatever, next few months. I think we see a bit of Microsoft Flight Simulator, very short trailer. Already out now. Which, by the way, the game has appeared on Xbox Games Pass, the app, a few times. So it's like, I think that game is ready to go, pretty much.
Yeah, it's going to get dropped.
Yeah, which will be lovely. So I guess, really, I mean, if you have a quick look, before we move on from first party, if you have a quick look at the studio list, there's quite a lot of them.
Yes.
Is there any of them that you're looking at there which is jumping out to you as something that we might see this year, or a team that you haven't heard much of in a while? I mean, maybe we see some more Age of Empires. Like, I know we had an Age of Empires event a few months back. Maybe we see a bit more of that.
That's the one. When I looked at it, that's the one that jumped out to me. I think we'll see some Age of Empires, to be honest.
Maybe we see a bit more of that. I think we see updates on on continuing games. Maybe there's another big update for State of Decay 2. I know for a fact that there's a lot of big stuff in the pipeline for Sea of Thieves. Maybe we get another sort of 3 or 4 minute Sea of Thieves trailer with some of the new stuff that they're doing there.
And Sea of Thieves has really picked up, hasn't it, since its arrival on Steam and everything. So it wouldn't surprise me that they want to give it some stage time as well. It's a very popular game now. So
the game is, actually, it's funny that you mentioned it, because as of this week, it's back up to being number 3 in the charts.
Yeah, it's a huge game, and if there's a sizable piece of DLC coming, that's worthy of some time at E3, I think.
Absolutely. So I'd be definitely seeing that. Maybe there's some time for Minecraft Dungeons. New big update for that, maybe. Wouldn't surprise me. They're constantly updating their game. There's like 5 DLCs out for it already.
Yeah.
There is a bit of a wild card in being Compulsion Games. Do you know what Compulsion Games is?
I mean, looking at the notes, they're the people that did We Happy Few. But I wouldn't have known that without the notes.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, in terms of, they were obviously acquired in 2018 alongside a couple of other sort of studios here. I think Ninja Theory and World's Edge was founded then as well. Obsidian also in 2018. Anyway, I feel there's a lot of excitement around what their new game is, because obviously We Happy Few was kind of a game which everybody was conceptually really excited for, but then it turned out to be like a survival-esque game, and it kind of just landed a bit lukewarm. I mean, it wasn't bad by any means. I've not played it, but I'm just going by the reaction on the internet and
I did
Metacritic.
Play it a bit.
Oh yeah,
it was okay. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Metacritic, I think it was like mid-70s or whatever. So, but what we saw in the concept trailer or the CGI trailer was what got people really excited. So there's a lot of excitement around the studio because of that, of like their creative potential. But also, Phil Spencer has gone out of his way to say how excited he is about the studio. He said it in a couple of interviews now. Don't sleep on Compulsion Games. Like, he's specifically, it's for talk about a lot of pressure on your shoulders, isn't it?
Yeah.
He pointed them out and said, I think this studio is going to make a really fucking cool game.
Yeah.
And when was We Happy Few? 2015?
Oh, yeah. I would have said potentially 2016, but I think it's 15. I think it's earlier. It was a long while ago.
And of course, it came out in early access, didn't it? So, 2016 came out in early access, released fully in 2018.
Okay.
So this game has had about the same development cycle as, if we think about the difference between Arkane with Prey and them showing off Omen. We're looking at 4. If it's coming out 2022, we're looking at 4 years.
Yeah, but obviously there's been no hints at their new game or anything. It's just Philly just being like, don't sleep on these guys. Okay.
Exactly. I just think it's just kind of looking at the times, the development times, and I think because the thing is, one of our trustworthy insiders, Clobberell, otherwise known as Secret Squirrel Boy, has said that he is pretty confident that he knows about 5 completely new AAA titles that are being announced.
Whoa.
So obviously, we've got a few here. We've got Forza Horizon hasn't been announced, so that's a new game, a new announcement. So that's going to be one. Project Omen is probably one. Project Typhoon is probably one.
Mm-hmm.
What are the other 2? So I don't know really what. I don't think Compulsion would make a AAA game. I think there'd be more AA anyway. If you look at what We Happy Few is, so I don't even know if that could be that. So I think as we sort of come to like wrapping up the first party part of like this the show, like what would you like to see? Like what would be your perfect like show? Like given that maybe one of these AAA games are a surprise, what would be your surprise game there? It could be something developed by a first party studio. It could be something developed, in partnership with another studio, but it would be exclusive and under the first party banner. What would be like the thing for you that would get you buzzing?
I don't know, to be honest.
Where do you start with that?
Yeah, I mean, nothing's really coming to mind, to be honest. I mean, all the stuff I'm kind of buzzing for is stuff that we've already gone over, to be brutally honest.
What are you kind of hankering for, man? Are you hankering for like a multiplayer game and you loot a shooter and you kind of co-op like looting kind of game, or just single player like in a particular setting?
I guess I'm kind of... Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm probably hankering for a multiplayer game or a looter shooter, potentially. If I were to, for what I want, I feel like it's been a while since I've had a good multiplayer like shooter, something that could like draw me away from like Apex or something. That'd be kind of cool, but yeah.
So like I would just say, I think, and this is just off the top of my head, and I know haters gonna hate, and because there has been whispers about it over the last few years, but I don't think anything's actually coming of it. But there's one particular studio who used to be with Xbox, who isn't anymore, but has been getting quite snug with them on some Games Pass deals, and that studio is Bungie.
Bungie. Okay.
I would kind of like to see a new Bungie game in partnership with Xbox, because like they're going to be doing like co-op adventure fantasy style stuff. I know we're not playing Destiny. I know a lot of people still love Destiny. I think Destiny ultimately, as what it is like a really incredible thing. They still hold the crown in that area. They're venturing into like new territory of what video games kind of can be and what are, in making that social environment. I think a lot of people really fall into Destiny as like that's their social time, that's their leisure time. They log on and they're in their what they even fucking called Guardians,
Fire team,
fire teams, yeah, exactly. All of that, but all of that, and that's like it's like constantly evolving. Yes, sure, criticizing and whatever, but I think they're very good, and obviously the games look and sound phenomenal. I would be really, really, really excited to see like a surprise drop. Like I said, something that hasn't been announced yet. We're working with Bungie for the next game, next AAA game, and it's coming. Bungie have always done like multiplayer or co-op to a degree. They've never just done a single play game, I don't think, unless it happened before my time. With Halo and Destiny. So anyway, I'm just saying that would be something that I would be pretty buzzing for.
Okay, yeah, that's not really something that would have come to mind for me. A Bungie partnership, working together with them. But yeah, I mean, hell yeah, that sounds great. I'd be down for that as well.
Yeah.
But then, would they keep it in like that shooter genre? Would they end up making
whatever they want?
Yeah,
as long as it looks good and it plays good. And that's the thing, all their games play so well. Destiny plays so well, and conceptually all amazing stuff. So It could be a third-person shooter. It could be first-person. It doesn't even have to be a shooter. I don't really care. But I just feel like it would be a really awesome partnership for Xbox to have, especially like with Games Pass and that sort of stuff. Perfect.
Yeah, potentially.
So that's my kind of wildcard wishes. That's on my wish list, kind of thing.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Yeah, I'd be pretty game for that. I mean, the thing is though, the Bungie really, I feel like Bungie are just pouring their heart and soul into Destiny, and Destiny 3, and
they're developing another game.
Oh, they actually are developing.
Yeah, they've been hiring for a new IP for a while, so that's happening.
Actually,
sure.
Yes, I do remember that. Yeah, I do.
I think it's called Matter. Actually, I think the project name is Matter, as in Matter, like dark matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows? But yeah,
cool. Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be on my wish list. So, as I say, we've got kind of like a vague idea of what's a lock, what's not a lock. It still doesn't really take up 90 minutes. I mean, maybe there's got to be other stuff to show. They'll have an indie scissor reel, as they always do.
They'll probably go over like games that are getting upgrades, or actually probably not. I was going to say like upgrades and a library of that. But yeah, potentially that might fill up sometime.
Yeah, I think we'll have some new Games Pass announcement to show for that. Maybe a new section for that. A section for FPS boosts, a new batch of FPS boost games. I don't know. Seeing that at E3 though is a bit weird. They normally just kind of chuck that on as a list on a website. That's what's kind of making me think that maybe we won't see something like that. Because as I was saying, I was kind of like, maybe not actually. I don't think it's quite E3 worthy. You'd be putting that in if you really couldn't fill your time. I feel maybe, yeah. As I said, if it's like some big games that people love, then I think we could see that. There's no way they don't mention it. I think at some point, because they always do that in these shows. They're like this year we introduced FPS boost, and since introducing it, you guys have been enjoying blah 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 blah. So I think as part of that, they'll be like, oh, by the way, here's 6 more games. Which is fine, whatever. But again, this still leaves a lot of time unaccounted for. But as coming into the second part of that is third-party games, which Xbox just has on their show, marketing deals, whatever. We're all pretty confident at this point that Battlefield is going to be on the Xbox show.
That'd be cool.
Maybe even Games Pass Day 1. That's been floating around a while, which would obviously be pretty huge. Any thoughts of what we could see on the third party side at Xbox's conference?
Nothing is springing to mind, and you've put me on the spot.
Sorry. All right. Well, let's
you
brainstorm.
Go first.
Let's brainstorm of what's coming up. In fact, I can do that right now. What is coming out at the end of this year? I mean, there'll obviously be sort of a COD, as there always is. Is there an Assassin's Creed? I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
I think we see.
I thought they said they were taking a break on Assassin's Creed for a while, didn't they?
Maybe. I can't remember. I think we see more of the games that we saw in May last year. So some of like the smaller games that we saw like alongside The Medium and Scorn. Do you remember Scorn? That was like the other like horror, like fleshy game.
I do. Yeah, I do remember Scorn.
I think we see more of Scorn. I think we maybe see some Stalker 2. We saw that in May as well. I think we probably see some more of The Ascent, which was like that twin stick shooter Diablo action RPG kind of thing, the Cyberpunk one.
Yeah.
So I think we see some more stuff from those partnerships. Maybe the Gunk. Some of those sort of smaller games that we saw of whenever that was a while back. So I think we see them. In terms of big games, I am also drawing a blank though. What is coming out at the end of this year? Hitman we're done with. Yeah, I mean, maybe there will just be some new reveals. I mean, straight up, maybe there'll just be some new reveals of some third-party games on the Xbox stage.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see 1 or 2 maybe. Yeah.
Darktide, that's another one. Warhammer Darktide. That doesn't have a release date yet, so I bet we see that with a release date, which I'm buzzing for.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, that game looks great. Well, the idea of it at least. Yeah, that's cool.
So, but other than
that,
what do you think?
I think, well, I think at that point you probably filled up quite a lot of your time slot, right? When you start going over some of these smaller games, potential drops and stuff like that, and with the 5 or 6 just bombshell first party studios, some indie stuff, you're kind of filling up your time at that point, right?
Back for Blood.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And
I'm sure that will get some time.
Yeah, well, so it got delayed till October. I mean, actually, that reminds me as well. Dying Light 2 coming up December. Maybe we'll see some more gameplay from Dying Light 2.
Which looked great.
Yeah, it did look great. Supposedly, and this is, I think I meant to say this but forgot, but supposedly, well, we've spoken about the possibility of there being a Star Wars game in the works at Xbox. We spoke about the High Republic a while back, didn't we? That could be one of the ones that we don't know about. There could maybe it's too early, but maybe we see something to do with that. Who knows? But Jeff Grubb said the other day, he said yesterday on the Xbox Era podcast, he said that there is going to be Disney is going to have a presence at the Xbox show. And with a cheeky fucking grin. So we don't know to what degree that means, because it could literally be like, Lego fucking Star Wars, the sequel. Do you know what I mean? It could be anything.
Yeah.
So who knows? But
definitely hints at Star Wars. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I feel like it's a bit early though, but
yeah, and it definitely could be. Unless they reveal, unless it's been going on longer than we think. But the LucasArts stuff has only been happening in the last year. So. Things like, I'm thinking about some other big. I mean, we're not seeing a new GTA game anytime soon. They release a game a decade. Crossfire X, we'll bloody see that game.
Crossfire X.
Yeah.
Hyped for that.
I'm hyped for the single player, genuinely, because Remedy are making it, and that's going to be a full exclusive. The multiplayer I could not give a shit about, but if you go and watch the single player trailer from last year, it looks really good. And as I say, Remedy are making it, so that's cool. I'm currently scrolling through IGN's website of what's coming out this year, so you have to bear with me. Stalker 2, already said that. Darktide. Rainbow Six Quarantine, possibly as well. Would they have that on their show? I think they would. And this is the thing, because I think part of the reason this is going to be such a big show is because Sony isn't there. Obviously Bethesda's there as well, but having gone through what we've gone through today, there's still the conclusion that lots of this is still in development, man, and they're not wanting to show CGI. I think we see, like I said at the beginning, a lean showing of first party games with gameplay, and then lots of it is filled with smaller exclusives like A or AA exclusives, and then third party stuff, especially because it's compounded by the fact that Sony isn't there. So Sony isn't taking up any of these third party showings.
That's true. Yeah.
Gotham Knights, do we see that again? That obviously got delayed till next year. Hogwarts Legacy, do we see that? 2022, we know that is. Yeah.
Maybe. It's 2022 release. Potentially. Yeah, there's so much potentially on the cards, yeah.
And I will, the biggest third party thing that's obviously happening in the next few years probably is the one and only Elden Ring. And there was supposedly a lot of insiders were fairly confident it was appearing at Xbox's showcase this year, just because Xbox seemed to have marketing rights to it, because they showed it on their stage in 2019. Was it last year? Was it 2019 maybe?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
It was. But supposedly now a lot of the insiders are saying that they've pulled out of the Xbox's show floor, and that it's going to be on with Jeff Keighley on a different day. So it won't be. We'll probably see it more of Elden Ring in the E3 week, but just not with Xbox.
Okay.
If like I said, if all the insiders and people are to be believed.
Yeah, which I'm pretty hyped for that game. To be fair.
Who isn't? I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still excited to see it. I know. I've spoken about it before, but I'm still excited to see it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, regardless of it being at Xbox Showcase, that looks. Yeah. That's one to look out for.
Absolutely. So, the only sort of, I feel as a lock, the only third party AAA that we will see is Battlefield. As I say, smaller stuff, Warhammer Darktide, maybe other smaller stuff like Scorn, Crossfire X, yada yada yada, Ascent. There might be a new reveal or two third party ones. But I think, with all of that, I think you probably are looking at, and if you include a load of the chatter, talking, hopefully not getting any giant cars on the screen. Please don't do that. No awkward jokes because it's all pre-recorded.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. All of that considered, I think that probably is lining up to about right. You know, as I say, on the first party Xbox front. Lean. That's my prediction. My prediction is lean.
Lean.
That's the one word I would use. What's one word you'd use to describe your prediction of what you think Xbox's showcase will be?
One word to describe the showcase. You went with lean. Yeah, just utterly disappointed. I don't know. Hang on. I need to think of a good one. I don't want to just say. Yeah. You can do it. Move on to a point. Come on, let's. Okay.
All right.
And we'll swing back to me on this one.
Okay. All right. Great. So, with that all said and done, honestly, that's pretty much most. We've exhaustively spoken about what we feel is going to be at E3 this year. I think, as we said at the beginning, we feel that the show is going to be good. It's not going to blow you away because there are things Xbox is holding back because they don't want to show CGI again, and things simply aren't ready because COVID is still happening. But there will be some fun surprises, I think, by the looks of it, and there will be some good stuff there. And assuming that it all shows well, like Halo and Forza, those are staples which you really can't go wrong with, which will still generate excitement. And as I said, with the new stuff, I think we're still looking at a really good time, and that's good. That's all good.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a worthy.
Worthy? It's going to be worthy.
Yeah, worthy of my expectations.
Worthy of your expectations. Okay, so we've got worthy and lean. Cool.
Yeah, I think it'll be a solid E3 actually. Maybe solid.
Solid.
Yeah, I change it. Okay. I don't think it's going to blow anyone's socks off.
It's not going to be liquid. It's not going to be gaseous.
Yeah. No, definitely
Phil Spencer just rocks up and just
depending
farts
on the planets they show at Starfield.
Yeah.
Could be a gaseous planet.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a really solid E3. I don't think it's going to blow anyone's socks off. I don't think it's going to be disappointing. I just think it's going to be a lot of cool stuff they're going to show. That will get people excited.
Yeah, no doubt. I agree. I think you can't go wrong with Halo and Forza and the other stuff. It's all new announcements, really. We're speculating. Well, other than Starfield, sorry, but all of this stuff is generating a lot of excitement. So, I think we'll have a good time. I think we're in for a good old fucking time.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
I literally, when we started this podcast, it was part of the reason for it was because I had so much excitement for this show, and now they're tempered a bit. My expectations are tempered a bit, which is probably a good thing. But nonetheless, it's still really, really exciting. So, I think we will probably look to wrap things up then. Is there anything else you want to go over for this show?
No, we covered everything. We covered everything I wanted to go over, and we wanted to go over. So no closing statements from me.
Okay. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us on our 12th episode. The next time you speak to us, E3 will have happened, and that thought is quite... It dreads me, actually.
It's exciting.
It makes
I think it's very exciting. I'm looking forward to talking about all the stuff that went on at E3. And
I don't even know what we're going to do. There's been so many of these episodes has just been talking about like nothing, like talking about like threads of speculation. So what are we going to do when that's over? Who bloody knows? I guess we'll just have to pick apart each trailer.
I have to talk about real things.
Ugh, no way. Gross.
Yeah.
Wicked.
No, it's cool.
Well, if that's if you haven't got anything else to say, then we will wish you all a very merry, happy E3. This is our holiday. Hope you all have a great time. Don't be toxic to one another. Enjoy the games.
No Sony pony in the chat.
No Xbots or Sony ponies in the chat.
Yeah, you don't need that.
Exactly.
Fine, we're all friends here.
Do Nintendo fans have a fanboy name?
I don't know.
Nintendoofuses. No?
That's got to be it. It rolls off the tongue so well. No, I don't know.
Saying it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not that. I was being sarcastic. Yeah, I don't know if there is. I'm not enough of a Nintendo fan to know it. So,
okay. Well, we'll think about this in the meantime. But other than that, have a wonderful E3, everyone. We'll come back to you after the show. We're going to put out another video, as I say, going over the showcase last year, giving our thoughts on that and maybe how that's going to reflect this year. But also just for funsies. We'll see you after the show. We'll do a post-show thingy, probably the week after E3, and we'll sort of talk about all the shit that has happened, and it will be fun. Wow.
It's going to be so fun. Looking forward to it.
It's going to be so fun. We're going to be so full of disappointment.
Deck.
I'm gonna.
Here comes the drop.
on like our first episode back, I'm gonna be like, right, E3 2022. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah. Let's start thinking about what's going to be at E3 2022. Let's not talk about E3 2021.
Yeah. Episode 54. Woo. All right. Thanks for clocking in, everyone. Thanks for listening to my suffering. We'll speak to you in a couple of weeks for our next regular podcast. Take care.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.